Hi there, this is your friend Immaculate. In my last video, I promised to share with you 5 essential factors of a growth environment, and today I will be talking exactly on that. So if you haven't watched my last video, you may want to go back and watch it. So we have already learned that crops do not just grow, they need the right environment to grow well and produce. The same applies to our personal growth. We need the right environment to grow and achieve our full potentials in all areas of our lives. Now, let's look at the 5 essential factors of a growth environment. Number one, a growth environment is a place where others are ahead of you. There are many people who would not want to be among other people who are better than them. They only like to be the only better people in the room. And so when they discover someone in the room better than them, or in the same class with them, they start to see them as enemies or as rivals. So it's rather unfortunate. This is very common in our society today. But an environment where you can grow is one in which others are ahead of you. I mean, people who are better than you. It helps you to see your future. It helps you to aspire to become better. And when you are genuinely aspiring to become better, nothing will stop you from getting closer to those ones that are better than you, to ask questions and know them better. So let me share a short personal story with you. About 7 years back, I didn't know there were many opportunities out there for young people doing great things in their communities. And so I was really so close to this couple, Madame Rosie and their husband, Mr. Francis, working together on construction projects in the community. And so I so much admired the rate at which they were both growing in their careers. So we worked for several years together, but I was too comfortable with my work that I couldn't ask them what I could do to really get better too. So you see, being too comfortable for too long with what you're doing is the obstacle to your growth journey. Yeah, take note of that. So one day when Rosie returned from Germany after about 5 weeks stay, actually she went there for a program, and I asked her how she got to know all about these opportunities. You moved from country A to country B, impacting lives in the communities. What is the secret? So I asked her. She sat me down, told me all I needed to know, and I asked God, why? Why didn't you tell me all of these things when I was in my early 20s? But God is never too late nor early. He's always on time. So from that time, we were not only building schools and other infrastructures in the community, but Rosie and Francis became my mentors, and I started experiencing tremendous growth in my career. So you see, when you find yourself in a place where others are ahead of you, instead of seeing them as your rivals or as your enemies, start to see them as your ladder of growth. It could be growth in any area of your life. Get close to them and ask them questions. The Bible says in Matthew chapter 7 verse 7 that ask and you will be given. Seek and you will find. Knock and the door will be open to you. So growth must be intentional. And for you to be intentional, when you ask, you're asking to get an answer. So if the answer doesn't come, the Bible says seek, which means you have to search for the answer. You need to search for the answers. When you search, you definitely find. And many people, they seek and they actually find, but it becomes difficult for them to knock. When you find that door of opportunity, you need to knock. You have to knock, and knock very hard, and the door will be open to you, and you will definitely get what you want. So I encourage you, ask, seek, and knock that door of opportunity. So that takes us to The second essential factor of a growth environment, it is a place where others encourage you. A growth environment is a place where others encourage you. So imagine you have 5 friends and none of them can encourage you to grow. If your friend is not adding value to your life, he or she is subtracting value from you, and you can't grow if your value is being subtracted every now and then by your very close friends. So it's not a growth environment, and you need to change that environment. You want to have a quiet prayer time for yourself and your friends, just pop in telling you to forget about the prayer so that you could attend a party. So you have a business idea and share with your friends, hoping to get the encouragement you deserve, but they tell you, my friend, even in your next world, you will not be able to execute that business idea. Can you imagine? Yeah. So you share with your friends, you want to make peace with your family, and they tell you you are too weak just to discourage you. You share with them that you want to go back to school, and they laugh at you, telling you are too old for it, just to discourage you. My dear, such an environment will take you nowhere. So change it. Change your environment. So that takes us to point number 3. The third essential factor of a growth environment is a place where you are out of your comfort zone. When is the last time you did something for the very first time? When you develop the habit of trying out new things, trying to do what you are not very comfortable doing, maybe because of fear or because of any other thing, then you will experience growth tremendously. See yourself in a seminar and the facilitator asks you questions which you know the answer very well, but you deliberately refuse to show up your hand just because you're afraid to speak in a crowd. But once you choose to open that door despite the fear and answer the first question, you discover that you become comfortable to answer the second, and you become more and more comfortable to answer the third, and so on and so forth. So you see, you don't just have to be afraid to try out new things or doing something for the first time. It will help you to grow. It doesn't matter if you are an introvert or you are an extrovert. So that takes us to point 4. The fourth essential factor of a growth environment is a place where failure is not your enemy. Growth journey is never a smooth one. So sometimes you lose, sometimes you win. And so you don't have to see failure in the growth journey as your enemy. Rather, growth allows you to fail forward. You fail forward. So I encourage you not to give up on that first, second, or third attempt. Learn from your mistakes, improve, and try again. That takes us again to the fifth essential factor of a growth environment. It is that environment where others are growing. Others are growing. If you are a student in a class of 50 and you pass exams alone and others fail, how would you feel? You see, it's much more rewarding when people grow together. It's very sad that in our society today, many people at the top, they will not want those at the bottom to grow just because of their selfish reasons. So when you help others succeed, you see yourself succeeding the more. That's why key to what? Key to sustainable success is to help others grow. Yeah, so what kind of environment do you want? What kind of environment do you want for yourself? This is a time for reflection. I've enumerated the 5 different essential factors of a growth environment. What kind of environment do you want for? Number 1, do you want for your home? All of us, we have a home. Do you want an environment where others encourage you at home? Do you want an environment where others are ahead of you? Which one do you? Which one do you want for your home? Secondly, which one do you want for your school? If you're a student, if you're a teacher, what kind of environment do you want for your school that will enable you to grow? What kind of environment would you want for your friends? What kind of friends would you want to keep that will help you to grow? Just choose one and write it down. Hold a pen, a paper, write it down. Write it down for yourself. And for those who go to church, what kind of environment do you want in the church that will help you to grow? Those working in the workplace, what kind of environment do you want that will help you to grow? Think about this and write them down. They will help you. So you see, when you choose to take those little steps of growth daily and commit to growing every day, at the end of the year, you will be able to say to others, if you know me based on who I was a year ago, you don't know me at all. My growth game is strong. Allow me to reintroduce myself. I believe all of us will say this to ourselves, will say this to our friends, will say this to our colleagues. After a year, you reintroduce yourself to your friends. After a year, if you choose to grow daily. So if this lesson has inspired you, please like, comment, share, and don't forget to follow me on Facebook, and also don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel for subsequent video. Together, let's reverse the negative portrayal of leadership. Let's impact lives, and indeed, let's change the world. See you in the next video.